What's up?
Yo, yo, yo. Hey,
Hey man.
hello. Can you hear me? Good?
Yes. How you doing?
Good, good. Well, my throat is kind of weird this morning. I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully I don't get anything. I'll probably start taking some medicines. Let's. Now, please, so. Okay. So what I'm about to present, and obviously I would like feedback from you, Abdul, and also you, Tabs, is basically what we've been working on for the past week or two regarding deeds. Deeds means decentralized ID. So basically, in these blockchain ecosystems, we aim to have some sort of way where we can identify ourselves uniquely and that people know who we are and things, and that we can do also like verified actions using our decentralized identification. So how does this come in with Prisma and the hubs? Well, ideally we would like people to have their own IDs to know they are themselves in the Cardano ecosystem because we're working initially with Cardano, but also any action. For example, during an event, someone says, "Hey, I finished my project. Hey, I worked this on my project. Hey, I did this contribution to Prisma." Those actions can also be logged in and verified that you actually did that. So that's the idea behind this new component we're working on and planning out that people could get their own decentralized ID and they can also do verify action, and even someone can verify said action, and it's all recorded in the blockchain. So that's for giving a little bit of context of the initial scope. If you have questions, Abdul or Tabs, feel free to make them before I present, a little bit more the documents and also some mockups that we've been working on this week.
All good
Any
from my
feedback
side.
or continue? Okay, so let me share my screen. I think I'm gonna share first a few things. Okay, let me just share my whole Google screen. Uh, can you see Google Chrome?
Yes,
All good?
todo bien.
Okay, so we did three documents. One that is a summary. This one has another purpose for later, but I'll focus on the technical specification and also the Cardano integration plan. So I'll explain how we're thinking of doing the decentralized identifiers and the verifiable credentials to the term. So what is a deed? So a deed is the decentralized ID, but a decentralized ID is connected to a document. That document has all the details of this of credential. Uh, it has an address and it has other identifiers that are really important. So how are we doing this? We're using Cardano for a specification they have called zip. So zip10 is a metadata label that you can put on any block. And in this case, we created two labels. This is helpful because this way we can filter and index the blocks that are from the deeds that we're creating. Because obviously when you have a blockchain, you have all the blocks and we don't want to read every block. So basically the first two steps is to create two zip labels, one for the deed of a person and another one for the verifiable contribution. So that they are anchored to the blockchain and we can filter them and read them easily. So that's a first step that we're using. We're using two specifications from Cardano. The second one is the zip20. This one is basically a payload structure for the deed document. So as you can see here, this is the label.
Carlos,
Here is your ID. Go ahead.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you explain what a payload is?
Okay, payload is basically let me show you. Maybe I can show it a little bit more. We have it in the Prisma enroll channel. Wait, what is this? So when you create anything in the blockchain, they have a space that contains all the details. That's what we call a payload. So those details go into a format that we call JSON. JSON is a standard format where we can send information from one place to another. And basically a payload is this small piece of metadata in this format. So the payload will be a JSON format where we can save the information in like this. It's a transfer format, I guess you could say it.
Did you say a transformer
Does that answer the question?
or a transfer format?
No, a transfer format of
Okay, cool.
information. So
Cool,
in this
cool.
case, it follows this structure for the data that we're gonna
Okay,
send
cool.
to the blockchain.
Thanks.
So by following zip20, we also follow this format that has a few limitations because we cannot save like huge pieces of data in the blockchain. So we have to simplify it. So the ID would be your Cardano ID that we assign when we create your deed, the IPFS. Since we cannot save everything in the blockchain, what we're doing is saving the bigger chunks of data into this other service that can save big chunks of data. So we can keep all the details of your decentralized identification in this other service, but it's connected to your deed in the blockchain. And all of that goes in here in this IPFS format. So it's basically a encoded link. We also have the action that just happened with the deed and a payload signature, because when you create your deed, you have to sign it with your wallet. So in a sense, this is already the document that is saved into the blockchain and will represent you. And I have the example here. So we created one. You can see it on the Cardano blockchain explorer, and it has its transaction, but we care about the metadata. So here we have the zip10 label that we set so that we can filter the ID in case we want to fetch it. And here are the details of that deed. So this is already a decentralized ID that's already saved into the blockchain. So
Carlos.
until this point, I have only talked about zip10 for indexing and zip20 Go ahead.
I just think it would be a good stage to pause for questions from Abdul Rahman.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Abdul, how do you feel about this? Uh, eh,
Well,
uh,
I suppose it's great.
okay, one sec. Oh.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me,
Yeah, I
please?
can hear you.
Yeah. What
Yes,
exactly is
yes, I
this
can hear
about, and
you.
what exactly is solving?
Okay, so what we were trying to do later is to allow people, for example, in your hub, or yeah, for example, people in your hub to have their own Cardano decentralized ID. So like in the government, we have an ID that we can say, yes, I am Abdul Rahman, I am Carlos. What we're doing with this document, with this implementation, is to also have an ID in Cardano. So in Cardano, I can say I am Carlos, I am Abdul Rahman. So that's basically the idea behind the decentralized IDs. So there are IDs that are saved into the blockchain and can be used for identifying yourself. So what I'm
Uh,
explaining here is basically a few things. It's highly technical, but a few things of how we are implementing that.
okay.
I don't know if
Okay.
that answers
Yeah, that answers the question. Thank
your
you.
question.
Yeah, that answers it.
Okay. Um, next thing is showing you here. Well, I could go into more details of each thing of this document. For example, what is the did Cardano method? These documents are in the Prisma and Roll channel, but they explain basically how we create the decentralized ID, the payload, the implementation. I wanted to show something else of how we're gonna implement it really. I think I'm gonna show better some images of the system so that we can, okay, here it is. Here it is. Can you see it well?
Yeah. Can you
Okay, so
maybe
here's the
close the toolbar
system
at the top just to see it bigger?
toolbar. You mean this?
No, in
At
the
the
word
top?
interface below your Google profile picture. Yeah. That,
Okay.
that. Yeah, nice.
Okay, so what are the system components of what we're trying to build? So I'll start for this side. So for example, the Cardano blockchain, obviously we need it because we're building on Cardano. But here the ZIP10, actually it says ZIP20 here, but it's ZIP10. We're gonna save on chain the the ZIP10 tags, which are what will allow us to index and find easily the decentralized IDs and also to find the verifiable contributions. So that's one part. The second part would be the IPFS storage, where we're gonna save the deed documents, like all the information of the person that validates that this person is who he says he is, and also the verifiable contribution payloads. Like I said, payloads is like a format of information, usually JSON, and that JSON will contain the schema or what constitutes a valid contribution. This part I'll go into details in a second, but they are all safe in the IPFS storage where we can save bigger chunks of data that we cannot change on the Cardano blockchain. So that's why the Cardano blockchain and the IPFS go hand in hand. So the next step would be I guess there's a component that I talked with you, Tabs, that is like global because I mean it makes sense that an ID is decentralized and it's in the whole ecosystem. So this global infrastructure is basically the DEEDS dashboard where a zip30 wallet connects. For example, your Eternal wallet. I know a lot of people are using Eternal wallet. I have it up here. Logs in and creates their ID. We also will have a DEEDS indexer, but that's more backend. So backend is not the app that the users will see, but something that is hosted somewhere else and will look for information, save it maybe in a database, index data so that it's easily accessible. So that's why I put Prisma here, because I guess initially it will be like a global interface. Just I'll try to show it in a little, but where people can create their deeds. There is a Prisma SDK that obviously it can be published in case someone wants also to do their own infrastructure for deeds for some other project. But basically, this SDK is just create, update, revoke decentralized ID. So interestingly, we can revoke and update data from them. And the next component that we also talk about that we wanted the hubs to also, have some sort of control over their contributions would be a forkable component. It has a verifiable contribution interface where people can say what is a valid contribution. For example, in my project, and people can say, yeah, this person worked 42 hours on my project, and I validate that is true, and it's saved in the blockchain. So I can show you this. We generated and refined some formats. Let me see where it is. Here. You ready, Tabs?
Am I going to be mind blown?
Yeah. Or you have a question before this? You have a question about the systems components and how they work?
Yeah, you made mention of it's tracking people's contributions, like someone being able to work for multiple hours and stuff. How is this going to do that? Say if it's
Okay, so if I hear it right, your question is how are people gonna validate a contribution? Tabs.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, how is it going to track their contribution if it's for decentralized something like this?
I mean,
How is it?
think it of this way. So, for example, let's say a hackathon is running and a hub forks our BC interface, our verifiable contribution interface. So they fork it, for example, with Propagate, they get the app. They say, for example, in the hackathon for the first funding release, you need to deliver this, and this. So that can go into a schema where they put what are the requirements to say, yeah, the work was done. So the idea is that that goes into the app, and when it is done, what is created in the blockchain is a record of that contribution. And there is an evaluator that will say, yes, they did this and they sign it, and it goes to the blockchain. So
Okay, so let
it's a way to keep track of all the contributions.
yeah,
Go
I
ahead,
get
go
it.
ahead.
I get it, but let's say we are five in a team, and then we are building a project like this. So we have a project we are building. We have coders, we have thinkers, we have artists. So the coders sit for about, let's say, 10 hours coding, but that is outside um the propagate app. They are doing that on maybe their a different. They are using um on their PCs doing solving their own or coding their own stuffs, and they spend hours. How would that reflect that? Maybe they can spend a few hours and they will claim they spend more, or they can spend more. But how are you going to really track that? Or it has no, it can't. Can it do that? Or I don't know if you're getting my question.
Mm,
For something like timelining, that's it's easy because the person will be doing it, which on maybe the Prisma timeline is something which can easily be connected or which can easily be tracked that this individual is participating in some way or the others. But in a scenario where someone going to the field doing something, someone being behind the PC doing something, do they have any relations with this? That's
Can I try and rephrase your question, Abdurrahman?
yeah, yeah.
I think how I'm understanding what you're asking is how will this work when the types of contributions are diverse and when they
Oh,
can come from
mhm.
many different places and happen in many different ways?
yes, exactly.
Okay. Well, in the end, a big chunk of this app is that it will be available to, it can be available to not only hubs, but also to individuals or maybe to an organization. And the idea is to have, I guess, a group of people that can validate that said things happen, or even the person says, I did this contribution, the same person that did a diverse contribution somewhere else. If they have access to this interface, they can create the contribution, and maybe someone that works with him can validate that that person did it. Maybe because he trusts him, he knows him, and says, yes, this person indeed did this work, and I'm signing it in the blockchain, and so that record gets saved directly and it gets taken as a stamp. The cool thing is that even if for some reason that's a lie or something, uh, someone that maybe is in the organization can also revoke verifiable contribution. This is to prevent, obviously, that the system gets corrupted. So everything can be reviewed manually by someone that is working with you, someone in the organization. And maybe it will be better if I show you a few mock-ups and you can see it. But
Yeah,
hopefully that answered the question. What do you think, Abdul?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that answers the question. When you say that if someone else can, let's say if it's a lie, someone can report that, right? And it's right,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it answers the question.
Yeah.
So my understanding of what you're saying, Carlos, is that the verification mechanism is peer review.
Yes, it's peer review. Let me see if I had another image here I wanted to show, or I just passed to the. This is all really technical things. Um, No, I'll pass to here. So look at this. Oh no, what's going on? One sec.
Classic.
No. So for example, say that you fork this, your organization verifiable credentials interface. You can issue, manage, share, and verify WB3C compliance. This is an specification that people that are needed. Verifiable credentials anchored to Cardano with selective disclosure. So I didn't talk about the selective disclosure. Basically, that means you want to present to someone the contribution you did, but maybe that contribution has sensitive data, so you want to hide it. You can do that. So that's a really interesting feature that we're working on. So this is a mockup. This is not connected to any backend or anything. This is like flows. And basically how it works, we have I think that this, no, I'll put the dish dashboard in a little, but basically both issuer and the holder. Issuer is whoever creates the deed, and the holder is for who you are creating the verifiable contribution. So the flow is here. An issuer creates a VC, the holder receives it, the holder selects the claims to share, verifier validates via the interface. So for example, my credentials. So these are two verifiable contributions I have. I can see the details. The verifiable contribution has an ID. The issuer has a decentralized identification that you can see here. The person that did the work has another ID. So you can see that they reference a blockchain to know who they are. And the claims are, for example, project ID is visible for the Catalyst Fund for team. He did code contribution. He did 42 hours for the organization, or your organization. Description, smart contract deployment for the registry. And this all gets saved into the Cardano blockchain, so that contribution can be transparent and traceable. So it has a transaction. Well, I think this one is just a test one, a test information, I mean. And you can share to someone your contribution. Say, I want to share to Tabs. Hey, Tabs, I did 42 hours in the Cardano Fund integration. And for some reason, I don't want Tabs to know what is my organization. So I hide it here. And now when Tabs gets this presentation, because you generate presentations, and I share Tabs my link, he's gonna see that I work in the Cardano Fund 42 hours, but I hide my organization because maybe I don't want Tabs to know what organization it is. But you can basically control what information to present in your contribution. You can issue a credential for someone. Maybe I want to say also that Abdul Rahman, you finish a set feature for your project, so I would put here your deed ID, and I would like fill in the information of what you did, and then send it to you for you to validate it. This should be modifiable. Right now, it's just test fields. Like this should be like completely, how can I say, modifiable in all sense. Like what are the claims? Here you manage your credentials, how many are active, revoke it, total. And this verify part we did is basically another flow where the flow I was talking about. Maybe someone in the fields said he did certain work, so he created a deed, and someone here can validate it. They can verify that that credential happened. So that's basically the idea behind this verify flow. Though I think we have to change it. This is not finished, but the general interface for issuing and managing verify contributions is there. I wanted to share something else. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Okay, but before that, what do you think of this? Any feedback? This is really a super early stages. Tabs, Abdul.
Well, it was good to me. Just one thing I didn't understand. I think I'll get it to us when you said you can hide what you did. So let's say you work on something, you can
Okay.
erase or something. So you can hide it for the person not to see what you did. So I was confused. here.
So
How? Okay, come.
so you know that how does the blockchain work? Everything you do
Yeah.
is completely transparent. Everything
Yes.
is open.
Yes.
So let me see. Share credentials. So the idea, this is UI. In case in case you want to share your contributions, what we wanted to do is add a certain level of privacy, so that not everything. I mean, not everything needs to be shared. Maybe you don't want someone to know a certain. Yeah, for example, sometimes people don't want to share their organization or some other data that is sensitive. So what this privacy system allows is for you to selectively choose what information you want to present to someone you're gonna send your contribution. So you can see here
So
that contribution type, code, you can hide your organization here, and it will be no longer present in what the verifier will see. You see here, verifier will see this information, but you can hide it basically, and hide the information that you think it's sensitive and you don't want him to see. I don't know if that made a little bit more
okay,
sense.
so yeah, so you can hide some, but the rest will be shown, right? Because I only asked because I
Yeah.
was wondering if you hide what you do, how will the people be able to verify if they can't see what you do? But I think we clarified it here, like, so maybe you just want to hide the information.
I mean, you can
the other stuff.
Mhm.
Your
Yeah,
work can
you
be
can
shown,
show
but hidden
as
your-
much as you want for the verifier to verify that it's true, but maybe you don't want to show everything. So you have that option. That's the
I
point
get it.
before
It's clear.
this part.
It's clear now. Thank you.
Just following on from Abdul Rahman's thread, if you don't include a certain field, where does that data live? Yeah.
No, right now this this still lives, for example, in the IPFS. That is completely sorry, the word left my mind.
Public.
But it's still encrypted.
Global.
But you can create presentations of the data. I guess the word is presentations. How you can create different presentations and share the link so that people can see just what you want. But that information still lives in the it's pinned to the blockchain and in the IPFS.
Okay, cool. And I guess it uses some private keys from the person who owns the DID to decrypt it and reveal it.
Yeah. It's not shown here, but assume that I'm logged in with my wallet and I have access to that data and it's indexed. Basically
Okay.
that, yes.
So does the DID live in someone's wallet? Is it like a UTXO in someone's wallet?
Well, I show you here the record. It's tied to a wallet. If you can see
Okay,
here,
cool.
Cardano stake,
Yeah.
It's tied to a wallet, but it
Okay.
has its own ID.
Okay. So then it uses the DID and the wallet in combination to decrypt.
Yeah,
The
because
IPFS.
I index them. I can index them easily with the with ID obviously, and I can find his DID.
Cool. And that indexing logic, is that what this admin app runs?
Well,
Does that
the
logic,
the
the
admin
indexing
app
logic?
will connect to the indexing logic. There's no backend for that obviously right now. This is just a mockup, but yes, there's indexing app for the deeds and an indexing app for the verifiable contributions.
Cool.
Like I
Cool.
showed here in the where is it? Here. You see, so there is a deeds dashboard and there is a deeds indexer.
Okay, cool.
And
Cool.
and the same goes for the verified contributions. There is a verifiable contribution interface, which is the one I'm showing, which is early stages mockups. And there is a verifiable contribution indexer. And these are forkable because people can basically put their organization, they can create custom schemas because of what is a verifiable contribution. Because okay, I remember now correctly, this is a schema. This is a schema because this can be done per. I guess I didn't think this part through, but it can be like per action learning journey or something like that. Like people can create a schema of what is of what are the valid contributions during the event. So this all will be modifiable in these forms, and that also gets saved into the blockchain, like that schema. And that gets indexed. Something else, but give me a second. Da, da, da. Is- 1 second. Wait, wait, wait. Oh no. Okay, I'll send some pictures because I but basically, let me stop sharing for a second and show you something else. But how do you feel, Taps?
It's good. It's interesting. There's a lot of substance to it. Congrats, first of all. That's a lot of work. I feel just curious, So, I think one area that's really interesting, well, two areas that are really interesting are one, measurement, which at the moment is not really a thing. I guess the only measurement within this is the peer review. So the verification is a little ropey, or it's something that we could maybe it might need more to be more secure. And I'm interested to learn more about this workflow of how it would be forked and then how a custom schema would be created for a given action learning journey. But I can see how a lot of the pieces of the puzzle are in place, and that's really exciting.
Nice, nice. I wanted to show you this UI, but I don't have it. This is also the mockup for the Prisma D interface where you connect your wallet and you click generate DID. And what this will do is generate your Cardano decentralized ID, and it will say, yeah, it's been created. This is the ID. This ID is like this because this is the format you must follow, and this is the IPFS that is pinned to it with your details. And you can go down here and see the status of your deed. You can revoke it, update maybe some information. But yeah, basically, part of the idea of the mockup for the generation. That was the part that I was missing to show you. But yeah, as you can see, there are two flows: create your identifier, and like we were saying, in an action learning journey or an event, people can have their own verifiable contributions, and some evaluator can come in and check and basically validate that this is true, and it all gets recorded in the blockchain. Obviously, like you said, there's a level of security and access that when the whole app is, I guess, done, we'll need to address, like who has access to this interface, maybe a hub lead, um, and so on. But for example, the Prisma Deeds part would be a little bit more global because in the end, people will be creating decentralized identifications for the whole Cardano ecosystem. Like this ID can be reused in whatever other integration they want to do. For example, maybe Abdul Rahman creates a new app in another action learning journey. He can use this decentralized ID. in their own application. It has some reusability because it's an ID in the Cardano ecosystem.
Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, anytime you create a wallet, you create an ID, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so how is this different from that kind of ID? Why would you need the Prisma
I mean,
ID?
because the wallet has no data on you, but the decentralized ID can have a document with more information about you that can be used also. So as you can see, the DID ID is not only a transaction that connects it to a wallet, but also it connects it to an IPFS. IPFS is basically another service that is decentralized where you can save documents. For example, saying that Abdul Rahman is this person. It's really customizable. You can save whatever information you want there, but basically you can save more data in a document about who you are. So it's not only it will be like let's call it like a more complete wallet. It's your wallet, it's a new ID, and it's also a document saying that you are who you are. So it's like the three components into one. And this can be all yeah, basically that.
So that means it's like it's going to further talk a little about you, like your bio, like um about yourself, right? What you do and stuff. Is that right? If I heard you right.
Sorry, can you repeat? I couldn't get it. Or did you get it, Taps?
So
Yeah, kind of. I feel like so. I think what Carlos was touching on just then is because it's customizable, the content of the DID is customizable. You can use it to create kind of like a profile in different ways, let's say. So I put this link in the chat, which is to this registration app for Prisma, which I think you will have used, Abdul Rahman, for the Accra AOJ, and you signed up as a participant, for example. And that participant is one role out of 4 core roles that we try to invite into an AOJ. So I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Carlos, but what Carlos is saying is that you could have a different type of DID to recognize those different types of people, different types of roles. One type of DID for participants, one type of DID for hubs, one type of DID for other things. And so you can kind of customize it in that way. I don't know if that made things clearer.
Yeah.
so each person can have a lot of data. Like one single person can have multiple data.
That's an interesting question. What about one person having multiple DIDs, Carlos? Wait, where's that question coming from, Abdul Rahman?
When you mentioned like one person playing multiple roles, so I feel like is it going to be like just one ID? Same person does this, same person does that, same person does this. Or maybe you have one ID, one date as working as this person, and the same person having different dates working as this person, like as a participant, another date for a hub, another date like a hub lead, another date just like in parts, hub leads can participate in the hub. So in this scenario like this, you need 2 dates for one to be a hub lead and one to be an expert at the same time, or just a single base so yeah, sorry.
Okay, so what I heard was that I mean that's the beauty also of decentralizations in a sense, since we don't have a little bit of control. Obviously, multiple wallets could create different deeds. However, that's the magic of the IPFS, where in the end the amount of details will also validate that this person is who they say they are. And in the end, this can also be I mean, it's also encapsulated to an event. So it's not like there isn't a level of human interaction to verify said person, but this is also all transparent in the blockchain, like who logged in with that deed and did what. And so someone else, that's why I kind of like wanted to add for the verifiable contributions this evaluator role, so that they can also check that, you know. But obviously, like, to answer your question, yes, it's possible that someone creates a wallet and create multiple different deeds, but this is all encapsulated to an event, so there is a level of control there. So Taps, go ahead.
I think I was interpreting Abdul Rahman's question a little differently. Because I know, Abdul Rahman, you were a participant in Accra, and then for CATS, you were exploring, trying to set up a hub as well, and you were also a mentor. And so there's 3 different role types you're aware of for yourself in that case, but you also saw other cases where a hub lead also wanted to participate as a participant and submit from their own team. And I found that interesting because it's like this question of, can one person be in 2 roles at once? And how would that be recognized by the DID system? Would it be 2 different DIDs attached to one kind of composite DID or a meta DID?
Okay, that's an interesting question, actually. um hmm. Because I was thinking, a multi-sig could also have a deed, but it could represent an organization, you know? So in a sense, you could make different roles based on the higher level an account will have. Did that make sense? But but yeah, those are some considerations.
I just love how
You're now
you're like,
making me reflect. Yeah. Because in the end, like you said, this is decentralized in a sense. There is a level of freedom in which, yes, you can create another deed for a different role, and there's nothing really stopping you from doing that. So sure, we could add more levels of security into the app, and obviously that's gonna go, but the freedom is there, you know?
yeah, yeah. And could one hub did be legitimately associated to multiple DIDs for different people that are part of that hub, kind of thing. I mean, I guess that's what you're saying with the multi-sig.
Yeah,
setup.
also, you can do a lot with the metadata and the IPFS.
Yeah.
So you can probably link them that way. Especially with the metadata, you can save a lot in there. But that's like a
Uh-huh.
more complex did that we could create, So more things,
Yeah.
and that can be indexed with other labels, other tags. There's a lot you can do with that.
Okay. So then, can I try and reflect an understanding of it to try and
Mhm.
like see if I'm understanding it correctly in my head? So the did app is basically like a did factory. It's a mechanism that can create lots of dids.
Yes.
That's something that stays Prisma hosted. So we issue dids to recognize different actors in the system. Then there's the VC app, which is a factory of schemas in a way, a schema factory.
Kind of, but not exactly a schema factory. It's like Prisma will have like a default schema because we will also host a VC app. I didn't want to say it, but we also have like a basic app with a basic schema, and people can fork it and change their schema. So to say this is our valid contributions or that someone can do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they will start issuing, they can issue verifiable contributions, which, like I said, in a sense, it's a did, but with another purpose. It has information about a certain action and it's signed by a wallet.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe a more accurate metaphor is it's like a base class that gets inherited by the hubs.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember we used that metaphor before. Was it in the context
Yeah,
of dids as well?
yeah,
Or
we used it at certain conversation we had. I don't remember. Maybe in the walk we had.
yeah, we talked about a lot on that walk. Um, okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like the question of measurement is still really interesting. So that it doesn't just become like a document that can contain anything, that the only security in that is that peers say, yes, we did this, yes, we did that. But if it can also have some kind of like measurement or like verification step, there's a really good example from Holochain where they set up a demo at some kind of conference where they were generating electricity by cycling a bike, and the actual electricity meter.
Hello, can
Hello,
you talk?
hello, 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 hello.
Okay. I don't know what happened. This.
Okay, so they were generating electricity by cycling a bike, and
Can you start
this,
talking about stuff?
yeah,
Start,
yeah, yeah,
start.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay, all right. I mean, it's it's really interesting. What just came to mind as well is this concept called unit of account. I think that's what I'm trying to touch on, is at the moment, it feels like there's no security around what a unit of account is. And if the hubs can define their own units of account, if there's no sort of like measurement security around that, then it just doesn't really mean anything, which is not so, it's not like a risk to us, but it doesn't help the hub either. So yeah, this a really good example which helped it click for me how to think about this concept of a unit of account is this example of the riding the bike that generates electricity. So the electricity meter in that example is measuring how many watts of energy is being generated, how much electricity basically. And the watt, like the unit of the current, which is a watt, that's the unit of account. And that measurement comes from the sensor, the meter. And so that in that mechanism, the currency is actually created from the meter itself. So it's very secure. And because what these schemas are creating is like a currency as well. So what you're offering by creating a way for hubs to fork the verifiable credentials app is you're saying, hey, create your own currencies in a way. If those are just text fields that your friends can say yeah or no, then the currency doesn't have much, it's not backed by much tangible. It's a reputation system, which, yeah, could maybe work. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'm explaining myself very well. In your example that you gave, Carlos, the unit of account might be hours,
Yeah.
but then where's that measurement coming from, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, it's highly customizable. I think we have to go into consideration of all this to add another level of, I guess, not only security, but like clarity. Mm,
I could hear what you were saying, Charles, but I know it was amazing, so something amazing, but I didn't understand it. I was just following up. We make it mention of like the price to the stars. We are going to see something, but I really it's good. You also made mention of the nation make something there.
Well,
Can you come again with simple terms?
yes. All right. Okay. Let me relate it to the action learning journey in Accra. During that action learning journey, we had one day, which was the value day or the evaluation day, which was Shik's day. And we did a really important exercise, which was I'm smiling because I'm remembering Shik. Love that guy. So we did a really important exercise, which is creating sticky notes of what you value. And then we collected them all and we organized them into clusters. And those clusters were the value themes that your cohort had defined, which came from you. So in that way, it resembles a value system that comes from your community, your place. Contained within that value system, there's loads of indicators of what is valued. What do you guys think is important? What was meaningful and valuable to you? So let's take an example of one indicator. Let's say the food, the lunch that came every day. That's a, yeah, that's important. Super, super valuable. If we added a weighing scale that measured the weight of the food, and then we also had a plate dispersal system that counted how many plates were used, and we also required people to add a photo of the food, for example, we could say those three measurements are used to create a measurement of one successful lunch being delivered and eaten. And that measurement is important to you guys because you really value the lunches. Okay? There's still some ways that that's not a super strong measurement because maybe the food would not be very tasty, which is unlikely because all of the food was great. But there's still ways where there's things missing from that measurement. There's lots of context missing from that measurement, but still, those 3 points make it a pretty strong measurement of at least we had a lunch today, and this is how many people ate that lunch. So what I'm saying is, how do we introduce those kind of indicators which come from a genuine measurement into this verifiable credential system? Because if you can link that, then because of what Carlos has presented, then the hubs can create those indicators of what they value. And that will get written to the blockchain, and then it can get connected to people's DIDs in various ways. Do you see what I mean?
Yes. Carlos, you got it?
Yeah, I got it. I was gonna say, maybe I need to think it through a little bit more before um before giving like a final answer. I'm trying to connect all those dots still.
What are you thinking through?
But that's a really good feedback. Um,
That's a very good question. What are you thinking through?
No, I guess what I think is I should probably sit down and get this feedback. That's an interesting question, and see what um yeah, how to connect the dots.
That's okay. That's
Cool. That's what these studio sessions are for.
okay. And let me add one thing to it, to what Sam said. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So while talking, I was talking to this, um, why would one person create multiple leads? One, and in terms of security, is it okay for one person to create multiple leads? So if no, what could we implement? Or what can we implement? Or how can we make people choose to create, not to create multiple leads?
Or how can we make the security in the system so intrinsic that it doesn't matter even if they do?
Yeah, yeah, good. You know, since it's centralized, people can create more. But if in terms of security, it's less, then how can can we implement something that will not, even though people will still do it, but will limit the number of people creating responsibilities. It's a different question.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you. Can you relate it to your context as well? Can you think of an example from your context?
My context, like for instance, me for instance, like it's a momentum, right? And I I also want to be a participant example. I also want to be a so I'm going to put a multiple days for all these to be different places in different places. But if I can be able to, the way you made it open for cats like this, so a pub could be a participant, and for instance like this. So it will limit a half lead to create multiple days, since it can be a half lead and also a participant. So it's one single one needs single. And in natural life Carlos would have a bachelor of a degree in science and degree in medicine. Same person can have a degree in everything, but it's still related to the same person, rather than different IDs where you an engineer, another ID, where a doctor, another ID, where something else.
Yeah. Okay, so the way that I understand your question is, how would different verifiable credentials from different contexts, like you say, a degree in this, a degree in that, from different parts of my life, how would they still be attributed to the same underlying person? And you also gave the examples of, I'm a mentor in this program, I was a participant in that program. How would they be attributed to me, my identity, across different contexts? That's a big question.
Yeah, I was just thinking, in a sense, if you have multiple deeds, which can be done, that's technically by the definition of decentralized and the blockchain, you can do it. It can maybe give you or grant you a granular level of privacy. So maybe you want a deed for social interactions, a deed for um, a certain project, and you can keep like different levels of, I guess, privacy. to those different contexts. So basically you can, yeah, it's like creating multiple profiles that are linked to you. And how is it linked to you? Obviously to the verified credentials, because in a sense, I mean, so through the obviously cryptographic part, your wallet, what is safe in the IPFS, and also, I mean, I think the idea behind verified credentials, at least how it is now, is that someone also vouches for you that you did certain thing in a certain context. So having multiple deeds is like having different levels of privacy in different contexts. That's the way I guess I see it. Maybe you don't want to link a certain deed to certain other project. But that's a really interesting question, because in the end, like I said, you have a lot of freedom in the blockchain, and so things can get out of control fast, you could say.
That's why I like Holochain again. It's funny because I feel like we're low key building Holochain on Cardano. Anyway, um, because it's agent centric. So in that way, the agent node, like the peer node, I don't know it in loads of detail, but for me, that's how it feels a lot more self-sovereign. This notion of self-sovereign IDs. So that the agent node really says, these are the different parts of my identity. This is my identity. This is who I am. Rather than that being stored in some global state, and then you saying that's part of my identity. That one is as well, and it goes in the opposite direction, starting from the agent rather than the global state. But I guess you can kind of mirror that with the wallet in a way. So I don't know, just thoughts. But yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Nice. All right. I think we should wrap up. We have a few minutes before we need to jump into the next call.
Yeah, I was thinking that maybe I need to do a hard stop to organize a little bit before the next meeting.
Cool. Thank you very much for presenting. That was awesome.
Sure. Thank you everyone for the feedback. There's a lot to think also.
Thank you so
Awesome. Cheers, guys. See
Yeah.
you. Well, actually, it's the Christmas break next, so this is our last studio session for this year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right.
I
Nice.
think.
And
I
take
think.
a picture.
Yeah. Take a picture. Let's put a Christmas hat on.
Yeah.
A filter on the. Let me see if I can find one. No. A reindeer? Think I can be a reindeer? Yes. There must be a Santa. All
Where's
right.
mine?
You have to select it.
How do
Are
you
you
do
on
that?
are you on mobile?
No, I'm on PC.
It's if you go on the three dots on your video and then
Three
open
dots.
settings. Yeah.
Record dots.
And then choose video filter.
You can see settings.
Okay, hover over your video, and in the top right there should be a button with 3 dots.
There's a button with 3 dots,
Yeah,
but it says record, caption, docs, notes, whiteboard, transfer, meeting.
no, not
It's
that.
not to do.
No, that's 3 dots. On your video,
Oh, okay.
yeah, and then choose
Okay.
video filter. Ah, this is funny.
Uh,
And then pick one from there.
yes.
What's this?
Let's
Whoa,
see.
this one's cool.
I'm not getting it.
Yeah, you got a dog. You got a dog.
I'm looking for a deer.
There's a deer. Ooh, I'm a lioness. Yeah, nice. Okay, good. That's a good one. All right, let's take a picture. 3, 2, 1. Good. Oh, that looks great. Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, this is okay. I'll take this.
Oh, okay, wait. Let me post this one first. Hold on. Okay, let's do another one. Wait, let me change mine. Yeah.
Carlos, you look like a serial killer.
Nice, good. We're all laughing. Okay,
Wait,
thanks, guys.
Thanks,
thank you,
guys.
Paul.
See you next
Uh-huh.
year.
See you next year.
Bye.
Bye.